mic on? Let's see.
No. Oh, there we go. Hey, Salt Lake. How's it going? You do a stage dive? He's gonna catch me.
We're gonna do a group photo. Let me stand right here. You guys ready for this? Right here. One, two, three.
How you guys doing? I'm tired. I'm messing up. I got like 3 hours sleep in the last 2 days. It's alright. Vampire, I don't need sleep.
How's it going?
Good.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So I have to, the first question that they said that I was in the interview, and I was like, one of my favorite movies of all time is Can't Hardly Wait. I want the definitive answer from Mike Dexter himself. Is he a god, a role model, or an asshole?
I think he's all three. He's the trifecta.
I think that's probably right. That's probably right. So for you, how did you get into acting? What sparked the urge to kind of go down this career path?
Well, I really wasn't good at anything else. So. When I was in 3rd grade, I watched a movie called Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And I thought, wow, those guys look like they're having fun. It was Paul Newman and Robert Redford. And I said, I want to do that. So I told my parents, I said, I want to be an actor. And my parents are both from Italy, and I'm first generation American, and they laughed at me. And they were like, that's cute. So then next time they said, what do you want to be? I said, a lawyer. Because that was like, ooh, a lawyer in the family. So I never did a high school play. I was really shy. I mean, I was so shy that in high school, I went to a high school with a lot of people. There was like 3,000 kids in my high school. And I was so shy I couldn't get on the lunch line because I was so embarrassed to like get in a crowd of people and like maybe drop my hamburger or something. So there was a little old lady that sold pretzels in the back, and for my whole high school experience, I ate pretzels and orange juice every day. I would go all the way over there and grab a pretzel and orange juice and then sit down before anybody else saw me. And then, so when high school was over, I went to college at a place called St. John's University in New York, and I studied pre-law there. And I took an acting 101 class, and it was like basket weaving, like you get to take an elective and people were just taking it for fun. But I actually fell in love with it, and I loved it so much that I told my parents I want to transfer into NYU and I want to study theater. And they were like, what for? And I said, because I'm really shy, and as a lawyer, I need to be able to get in front of the jury. And they bought it. So I went and studied theater there, and that was the first time I actually got to do plays and actually, experience what actors do. And so, yeah, then I graduated. I didn't actually graduate. I'm 15 credits shy. I finished, let's say I finished my program, and I started working, and then I've been working ever since.
We are living in a golden age of geek times, and I'll tell you right now, Supergirl is crushing it on TV.
And it's a fun show. It's a really fun show.
I'm loving it every week, and you're fantastic on it. How did you get attracted to the role of Maxwell Lord, and do you think he's a good guy?
Well, Greg Berlanti, who created the show, and the showrunners sat down with me, and I had a meeting with them, and they introduced me to Maxwell Lord and said, look, we want you to play this character. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. It's a really great character. And I went home, and they gave me a stack of comic books to look at for homework. And so I signed up to do it. What was cool was Maxwell Lord's never been portrayed before in film or television. So I got to kind of create it specifically for this world. But in this world, he's a green tech billionaire, so he doesn't really need money. And he's famous already, so he doesn't need fame. So it's not like he's like a Lex Luthor that's motivated by greed or anything else. I mean, for him, in his mind, what he thinks he's doing is good. You know, he's trying to protect humanity from any outside sources that could possibly turn on us. And he looks at people like Supergirl as a magnet for trouble. And if we didn't have her, you know, we could solve our own problems. And so, is he good? In his world, in his mindset, he is. If you look at it from that perspective, he's looking at Supergirl as bad, you know. But he lives in a gray zone because I think part of him, you know, teams up with her at times to help when there's a bigger problem, you know. So I like that he lives in a gray zone.
I want you to, I do feel bad every time I see you standing in that cell, because there's no toilet. And I always feel bad for you guys to have to stand in that cell just doing nothing.
It's kind of like a Barbie case. Collectible doll case. But yeah, that cell is kind of interesting because the sound quality is always bad, so I always have to redo my lines in something called ADR, which is additional recording, or they call it looping. You know, in those Chinese movies where you have to kind of redo your voice for the film, I have to, most of the time when I'm in that booth, because the sound quality is poor, I have to redo my lines in a sound booth after for post. So it gets a little tricky sometimes.
You were on four episodes of Glee.
Yeah.
And I can't, my memory's terrible. Did you get to sing on that one?
No, I
didn't think so.
I don't think they don't want me singing. I said, do I have to sing? They said, do you want to do Glee? I said, yeah, I love Glee. Do I have to sing? And they were like, no. I said, okay, good. Because
I was going to ask
But it is actually weird because I remember the first episode I did, you know, it's the show and all of a sudden people start singing and dancing in front of you and you're like, how do I react to that? It's really weird. Like if all of a sudden, you know, he got up and started singing and dancing and I'm supposed to act like it's totally natural and like, okay, now back to the scene. So I was like, I didn't know how to react to it. I was like, am I like, oh my God, this is happening right now? Or like, how do I do this? But it was fun.
I was going to ask you, because one of my favorite questions, and I ask everybody when I interview them, is, because you didn't get to sing, what is your go-to karaoke song?
It's usually Johnny Cash, because you don't really have to sing. It's a good burn, 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 that ring of fire, that ring of fire. You don't have to talk.
All right, I think we've got a line of some questions coming up. So where are we? Out here.
Hi, my name is Ellen. It's nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi. So you are an incredibly diverse actor.
Oh, thank you.
And I just finished Nurse Jackie. And so your character, Nurse Jackie, was so different from your character in Twilight. Which role did you like to play better and why?
You know, it's kind of like asking me who my favorite kid is. It's like they're all, you know. If my litmus test is if I'm not excited to go to work, then I shouldn't do the role. And I've always been excited to go to work in everything I've picked. And there's things that I've turned down because I look at it and go, you know what? I don't think I'd be excited to go to work. So once I take on the role, I'm totally excited to do it. And so they're so different that it's hard to pick. They're different experiences. But I actually shot Twilight and Nurse Jackie at the same time, like for 4 years, and that was even more fun because I would be in New York doing Nurse Jackie, and then I would get on an airplane and like 3 days in New York, and then I would get on an airplane and go to Vancouver and do like 3 or 4 days there, and then I would go back and do 3 or 4 days. So I was like back and forth so much, but it was kind of fun being able to do those at the same time. And people are always like, well, did you get them mixed up? And I'm like, no, because they're so different. I mean, Carlisle grabbing boobs is just weird. Sorry, it's the other show. I should have used that as an excuse.
Hi, Peter. My name is Amy.
Amy.
I just wanted to say I loved you in Lucy's.
Oh, thank you. I wrote that. If you haven't seen this little movie called Lucy's, Loosies, it's on Netflix. You can watch it.
And my question for you is, did you get to see or keep your decapitated head, and what was your reaction to that?
You know, I have not seen it since. I often lose my head. Joke. I have not seen it since. I remember doing the casting, like there's different ways to actually cast your head. You have to with plaster. They just do a full plaster, and it's really, then it gets really tight and you feel like you can't breathe. And then they do computer generated stuff. So, and then they had me do different facial expressions to see which one I was like, I don't know. I never had my head cut off, so I don't know. Is it like, how? Or, I don't know. How do you exactly want the face to look? But they picked something, I don't know.
Hi, my name is Evie, and I was wondering, were you sad when Breaking Dawn Part 2 ended, and how was it filming your own death scene?
I was actually bummed when I read the script because I was like, man, he dies and then he doesn't get to do the action stuff. But then I was like, but then it's cool because it's going to be such a surprise for the audience. But everybody else had all these days of like a whole week of action stuff because they had this huge battle, and I was like, well, I'm dead, so I don't have any. I kind of just sat around my hotel room jealous. But yeah, I was sad Breaking Dawn Part 2 was over, and I always wish there was more. I mean, I love that character, so I always go through a mourning process after I finish a film because it's like that character's now complete, and I won't be able to revisit him anymore, and it's sad. But it's always captured on film, so I can always go visit it that way. But the experience of filming is completely different because even if you work with people again on a different show, it's just a different energy. We had such a great energy on that show, and we really were like family because we were together for 5 years, and just like family, they don't return my calls anymore. No, I talk to them sometimes.
By the way, good call on Johnny Cash. Ring of Fire is one of my favorites at karaoke. But in Twilight, I have a question for you. My favorite, I was a Team Alice fan. Which person did you like working with the most out of the females? Which one did you get along best with?
Let me think. I mean, Kristen Stewart's rad, so I love her. But again, that's like asking me to pick my favorite kid. I mean, Ashley was great. I can't. It's hard for me to pick. They were like family to me, so I can't really say. What my favorite was actually, I could say this. What my favorite was when we had scenes all together. That way, because it was like going to work and having a party. It's like we were all together and having fun,
You and I have actually met before. We had a Twilight concert party here where they played the soundtrack, if you remember that, and it was filled with Twilight fans, and I was just like in awe of like how crazy they were.
Yeah.
Who's crazier, DC fans or Twilight fans?
Oh wow. Well, I would have to say Twilight fans for sure. For me, I mean, it was not crazy, but like just that intense. Like there was an intensity there that I don't get from that Maxwell Lord crowd.
My name is Matt, and I was wondering, what was your favorite Twilight movie to film and why?
I would say the first one, because when we shot the first one, nobody knew what it was, so it was a little more intimate, and it kind of belonged more to us. And then by the time it went to you guys, then it belonged to like the world. But when we were shooting the first one, it was just a little independent that nobody knew what it was. I mean, I remember having conversations with the cast. We were like, I don't think anyone's going to see this movie. I mean, the first day of filming was like, it was really hard because the first day of filming was the baseball sequence, and it was raining really hard. And our makeup was running, and our hair was all wet, and we just looked like bad kabuki, and everybody, I looked like Ronald McDonald, and we were sopping wet, and it was just chaotic, and it turned out great. I mean, but you guys would never know, but that was a very chaotic day, and after that day we were like, I don't know if this movie's ever gonna get, seen by anybody. But the first one was really interesting because like I remember going to these little bars, and Rob would just play acoustic guitar and open mic night, and then by the second one he could never do that again. So I mean, we were kind of locked in our hotel rooms in the second one. We were like, what are we gonna do? Because we can't go out. Because every time we went out, it became a frenzy. So then we just kind of sat inside. And I remember, I think Kellen Lutz got the Twilight board game once. We were sitting in our hotel rooms playing the Twilight board game. I was like, if people knew what we were doing right now. And I was kind of pissed I lost. Because I had 350 years of experience. And Ashley won, but I think she used her psychic powers. I'm not sure, but I think she did. And the reason why I lost because I didn't know the high school stuff. There was a bunch of high school, like they had a whole high school side to that I wasn't in, so I kept getting those wrong.
Hi, I'm Tisha. And my question was, you're on Supergirl, and I love that show. I was wondering, who's your favorite superhero?
My daughters. They're super to me. But I grew up on Spider-Man. I mean, I grew up getting Spider-Man comics in the mail, and that was always like, every month they come in the mail, I'd be so excited, I'd go check the mailbox, and it didn't come in, I'd be like, yes, and I'd run inside and like go in the corner and read it, cover to cover. But yeah, that was my favorite comic growing up. I actually I created a comic book called Protocol Orphans, and I remember the release of it. It was right next to the Spider-Man comics on the shelves of the comic stores, and I was like, this is so cool that I got to actually create a comic book, and now it's on the shelf next to Spider-Man. Thanks.
Hi Peter, my name is Tammy, and I just recently discovered Nurse Jackie. So my question is, for your character's quirk, did you have to prepare for that, or did you just go in on the day of shooting and like, I'm gonna wing it?
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Can I show you? I'll get sued. I'll be honest, it's actually harder than you'd think it would be. I mean, I'll say more difficult because harder is not the... Now I'm getting embarrassed. I just turned red. Because it's kind of like, it's a tick, right? So he has to do it unconsciously, and so it's more of a no-look kind of grab, you know, and then he has to realize, oh my God, so it's not as easy as you would think it would be, because you have to kind of play that you don't know that you're doing something that you know that you're doing. Years of training, that's all I'm gonna say. Years of training.
Hi, my name is Michaela, and my question is, if you could do a do-over for any character that you've done, who would it be and why?
A do-over? Like what?
Like if there was a character that you've done that you didn't think you'd do as good as the other, so would you do over or no?
I'm going through the index of movies in my mind right now. No, I don't think there's anything that I would have said I could have done something different with that. I mean, maybe the wigs on Twilight could have been better. But that's not my fault. That's not my fault. I mean, the first one I dyed my hair, which I liked the best. And then the second through fifth, I was doing Nurse Jackie at the same time, so they were like, well, you gotta get wigged on Nurse Jackie or you gotta get wigged on Twilight. I said, it's probably easier to get wigged on Twilight because it's blonde and I don't have to dye my hair. But every movie, the new hair person would come in and go, oh my God, your hair was terrible in that last movie, I'm gonna fix it. And then it would get progressively worse. So I had no trust for any of them. I remember the fourth and fifth one, I had like this Donald Trump kind of comb over, and I was like, that's not the character at all. Like, what are you doing? And I would like push it back, and right before the take, she'd come in and push it down, and then she'd go, and I'd be like, and so we were actually kind of fighting with each other, kept pushing it back. And then she actually didn't come to the we shot all the interiors we shot in Louisiana, and then all the exteriors for those two movies we shot, no, backwards. all the interiors we shot in Louisiana, and all the exterior stuff, outside stuff for both those movies were shot in Canada. So when we went to Canada, that lady didn't come. So I said, we got a new hair lady, and I said, look, I don't like that it's kind of pushed over, like parted. I said, look, it should be back. So all the stuff inside the house, his hair is like kind of messy and down, and all the stuff outside, it's like back. And I was like, I don't know how to justify that except for being, my wife would have some kind of tussle inside, and my hair was always down. I was like, I don't know how to explain that. But yeah, it was, I'm not going to take responsibility for that department. But which one did you think it looked the best in? I always liked the first one because it was my hair, yeah. I did too. Although I had one person say, you had such a bad wig in the first one. I was like, that's my hair. I think it was the hair lady on the second one. She goes, that wig on the first one was terrible. I was like, that was my hair. Oh, backtrack.
Hi, my name is Felicia. I'm 15 years old and I'm from Germany. My friend Jenna, she loves you. She says you're the man of her dreams. And my question is, how do you learn to act as the vampire Carlisle in Twilight?
How did I learn? They gave me a manual. How to be a vampire. How did I approach the role, I guess is what you're asking. And I do a lot of history for my characters, because when you meet a character on screen, you're looking at a portion of their life. So you get a glimpse of a small period of their lives, and there's a lot of it that you don't see that's on screen. So for me, I try to fill all that in so that I have knowledge of where they've been, what they've been doing, who they are, so that when you actually meet them, then they're more, he's more of a fully developed person. And so for Carlisle, it was actually difficult because I had 350 years to kind of, fill in. But I actually did it. I wrote a notebook full of history of when he was bitten and, where he was and where his travels took him and, why he became a doctor. And yeah, I should, right? I don't even know where that is. I'd have to dig for it now. But it's not stuff it's all stuff that I make up and stuff that you guys would never know, but it actually informs me in other scenes. So I'll give you an example. In the baseball sequence, right? I point the bat to center field, and the director was like, "Oh, I like that. I'm going to start on the bat, and then I'm going to come up to your face." And the reason why I did that, which you guys would never know, is because in my journal, I wrote that Carlisle was there the day that Babe Ruth pointed to center field. There was a day that Babe Ruth pointed to center field, and he hit it exactly where he wanted to hit it. And I imagined that he actually went to that game and got to see that personally, and that he got to actually meet Babe Ruth. And so every time he does that, and he points to center field, and then my wife would be like, "Don't point to center field again." She actually said that in one of the takes, and they didn't use it. But not the Babe Ruth thing again. That's what she said. Because I told the director, but little things like that would, give me more information to play other stuff. And it's always fun to actually create something and go, oh, now I know why he's doing this. Now I know why he likes baseball. Because when he came to America, it was like, in the 20s and 30s, that was America's pastime. So he embraced it. And so for him, it was a way for his family to bond, But a lot of stuff that I create would inform that. And then how he moves, where he's from tells me where he moves. The scarves too, that wasn't in the book, but I always thought, Carlisle's, I felt as like this gentleman. And I told the director, I was like, I feel like he would wear scarves, because back in the 1600s, that was part of his wardrobe. And over the years, it would change the different scarves he would wear. But I thought, I told her there's 2 points. One, it distinguishes him as a gentleman. But 2, I feel like because he got bit, he doesn't like to be exposed. So it's almost like his security blanket, you know what I mean? And so these are things that you would never know that I'm actually working on, and then we put it in the film, and you're like, oh, Carlisle likes scarves, you know? But there's all reasons behind that, you know, and that's the fun of what I do. I mean, the research part is like paddling out to waves, and then when you get out there, the acting part is like riding the wave, you know? So the work is done beforehand.
So Fastlane is one of my absolute favorite shows, and I wanted to know what it was like to work on a show that had such a huge per episode budget, and if you know how it was going to end.
What was the second part?
And if you knew how, like, what was going to happen to Billy in the candy store, because...
Oh, I think she's still sitting in the candy store somewhere. she's still abducted somewhere in a warehouse. No, look, I love that show, and I was so excited to be able to be a part of it. It was a show called Fastlane, and I got to play this role where I was a cop, but it was like playing cops and robbers, and I was getting paid for it. It was amazing. It was such a fun role. I mean, it wasn't like a procedural where it's like, okay, you're gonna come in, clear. It was like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna kick the table over, dive over this couch, and then pull out 2 guns. Because whatever looked cooler was better, you know? So, and then they would just shoot it in slow motion and be cool and fun. And I got to drive Ferraris and drive like really cool old cars and blow stuff up. I remember one day I was shooting a rocket launcher, and I was like, this is so cool. So that was a really fun character. I remember my daughter was in kindergarten, and I'm playing this kind of rock star cop, and they gave me these leather pants to break in, and I was going to like daddy daycare in leather pants, feeling really uncomfortable. Because all the moms were looking at me like, who's that? Why is he wearing leather pants to school? And that character's way cooler than me too, so I was like, man, I don't know how to pull this one off. But it was fun, and we got one script at a time, so I never knew what was happening, but it was always exciting to open up the scripting and look at what cars we were going to drive. Or there was a place called the Candy Store, and we had all these fun motorcycles and cars and boats. Anything that we needed to use to solve the crime is what was there that week. And every episode I'd go in, there'd be these old, you know, cars from the 70s and fun stuff, toys, just guy toys to play with. So it was fun. Lots of stuff blowing up. So it was exciting.
Hi, I'm Lizzie, and I wanted to ask a question about Supergirl. So you mentioned earlier in the panel that Maxwell Lord kind of inhabits this gray area, but over as season 1 has progressed, he's gone from kind of being at odds with Supergirl, the DEO, to kind of working with them. So is he more of a neutral character now than he was at the start of the season? Has he progressed in that sense?
I think he'll always not want alien influence on our planet, you know, so I think he'll always be against the superheroes and supervillains. I mean, I think in the DC Comics he started Justice League, but I think he did that as a way to control them, you know. So I think he teams up when he has to, when there's a bigger thing that he needs to defeat, you know. If he sees a bigger threat and he's able to team up with them to defeat that bigger threat, then yes. But I don't think he'll ever be 100% on board. Okay, now I'm you know, I think Supergirl's great. You know, I think there'll always be that wanting to rid the planet of all of the aliens and just basically have humanity, you know, take care of each other.
Cool. I think we got time for one more question.
Hi, I'm Kirsten. I'm a huge fan of Glee, but I would have seen you in it. Who did you play and what did you do?
Oh, jeez, what was the name of my character? Somebody out there? Something? Rupert Campbell or something, maybe? 20 years of characters, I can't remember. Rupert something or other. Champion, yes, you win. This is a fun game. What was the name of my character in Supernova? Anyone? Something Larson. Anyone? I don't remember the first name of that one either. Okay, so I played the director in the 5th season. Is it the 5th season? I played the director of the play. Carl Larson was super dope, yes. And yeah, I was a director, and there was a play happening, and I was the director of that play. Funny Girl. Director of Funny Girl. Don't ask me what I did last week. I don't even remember that.
I think we can actually do one more question, if we have one more.
Hey Peter.
Hi.
My name's Abby, and
You have a lot of fans, Abby. Let's give a standing ovation for Abby. Everybody. In the back too. Look at that. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good in here? A lot of love. A lot of love in this room. You know, I said the other day, somebody said, what superpower would you want the world to have? And I said, love. And I said, you know, instead of terrorist attacks, I wish we had empathy attacks, where you just run somewhere and everybody just hug people. That would be awesome.
By the way, you're great. What was your favorite scene to play in Twilight as Carlisle?
Wow, that's a lot. That's 5 years of scenes there. As hard as it was to shoot the baseball sequence, I really enjoyed it because I used to play baseball mostly. So it was fun, and it was fun because I got to teach some of the other cast hadn't played before, so I got to teach them. Like Rob had never played baseball before either, so and he was so awkward. I was like, Rob, bend your knees. He was like, I was like, no, just like get down, like you're getting. I was like. But he looked really sexy by the time I was done with it.
Well, I want to thank you for coming to Salt Lake.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you for singing Johnny Cash.
Thank you guys.